Okay, this is Tales of Eodon, session 43. You guys are currently in the Alum Mansion in Colmar. You had successfully uh, extracted Lance and evaded Mazoon, the witch hunter. Olivier, you have been uh, learning with Meryl Suhana. She's sort of teaching you her dark arts, and you had learned how to sort of channel the abyss through your body uh, in the form of her dark arts, costing you a psionic point, just providing you a way to sort of convert your resources. Katarina and Lance, the two of you had sort of fought with Mazoon for a little bit before sort of exploring the mansion. Lance, you found some various uh, witchcrafty looking things up here in this room, where it looked like Mazoon had been experimenting with the circle, and you guys had found his notes on what he was doing here. Lance, you had killed this immobile figure here, but there is another one who's just sort of like standing up here suspended. And when Katarina had led you into this room down here, you had asked about this eye in the corner that's sort of smoking this like black umbral smoke that even you can see, Lance.
Yeah.
And Katarina had told you she was going to let Olivier explain what that was. But Olivier at this point has been gone for a little bit. Katarina and Lance, are you guys doing anything in particular?
I asked Katarina, I say, where's Olivier?
Forgot it wasn't Torvald.
Oh shit. She's over in that hole over there.
She's in there.
So Olivier, you're not technically standing there. I just put you there for
Oh wait,
dynamic lighting reasons.
she's not back yet?
No, I just assume the two of you guys are sort of waiting there. After a while, she will return. I'm just asking if you're doing anything in the meantime. You're only going to be there for like 10 minutes or so.
I'm gonna like grab like a piece of wood from the floor, like jab the circle.
Okay, you're jabbing the circle.
Yeah, like just prodding around parts of it.
Okay, you sort of poke it. The eye in the center right now is not currently active, so you're just sort of like scraping ground, but you're not too sure where the source of this smoke is coming from. As you're sort
Like,
of go on,
what?
go on.
No, I was just like kind of scrape the concrete underneath,
Okay.
like trying to like scrub the smoke out.
You notice as you're like, are you attempting to like blur the line? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, just like find out where the smoke is coming from.
Oh yeah. You're not quite able to discern where it's coming from, but it's clearly rising up off this concrete here. And as you're sort of like fuddling with it, the drawing of the eye on the ground sort of blinks, and as it does so, the center of the eye is sort of filled with like a pitch blackness,
Weird.
like that. And Olivier, you're going to watch as she sort of just like rises up out of the ground.
Lance is gonna jump back several feet and like fall over the side of his bed. What the fuck?
You've never seen a human rise up out of the ground before.
Do I notice him falling?
Yeah, he certainly looks pretty startled. And Katarina's just sort of like waiting against the door over here.
Oh. Lance.
Where'd you
What
go?
doing here? She like puts a finger to her chin, tilts her head, and is trying to think of the best way to describe this. I went to, you could say, a parallel realm. I went to go pay a visit to a patron, if you will.
Okay. So you are a witch after all.
No, I'm not a witch. I just, if you use a tool, if you use a hammer, or you are a blacksmith. She's trying to be like, just because you use magic and take advantage of magic doesn't make you a witch. You know, like.
there was another man here. He attacked me. He was posing as a woman this entire time.
She
He
turns
was
and
also
spits on the
using
floor.
magic.
Oh, sorry, please. Continue.
I just said he's also using magic.
Yeah, while you were saying that, Olivier would like turn and spat at the name, or at Monsoon's name. He actually hunts witches, or wait, he hunts witches or just like fae?
Well, he hunts. As far as you guys know, he hunts specifically witches, but he has seemed to single out Leonte.
Beyonce.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. Were you there? There was a point where Torvald and Leonte had actually witnessed Mazoon saying that Torvald was not a witch because he couldn't sense anything from Torvald. But the nitty-gritty behind that detail was never really made clear to you guys.
Okay. It is weird. I think you will like him. Mazoon is a witch hunter, but he is after our friend who is not a witch, and quite honestly, I just do not like him.
Well, at least I know I'm safe. 'Cause I'm not a witch.
She chuckles. And you have our company as well? She like nods at Katarina herself.
Is she a witch?
No, a witch.
Yeah, you have your answer?
Well, I think we should get out of here.
Mm,
I like walk up to her. I'm like, I found this in his study. I hope maybe I can use it against him. And I show her the crystal, like by cracking open the pouch.
Olivia, you've definitely seen these before. It's one of the crystals from the Abyss that were also present in Ohura.
Ah, those things again. Where did you find it?
In his study down the hall. But I think we should get out before he comes back.
D'accord. I agree.
Now, Katarina, you know that Mazoon should still be back in the other plane. So
Okay.
even though Lance doesn't quite understand how the house works right now, you know that he's on this side and that Mazoon is not.
Okay. Either Mazoon doesn't know he's in the city of the dead, or he somehow can think it without getting out of it to study these people.
So
I feel like he should figure it out by now.
in his
maybe not.
notes, he describes the town as being under some sort of like enchantment, and he believes that every day the people are just forgetting what's happened and are like being revived on the daily,
Okay.
but he thinks it's due to a sort of spell.
Okay. It's
But
actually useful for him to stay there.
Yeah, he believes everybody is still alive in that town. He just can't figure out what's going on with them.
I see. Okay. Sorry.
No,
Curious.
you're all good.
Curious.
So, the three of you, are you guys remaining down here? Did you want to peace on out of here?
Nope. Chichiro.
Okay,
now.
so you guys are going to head out back into ruined Colmar. Stepping out into the present Colmar, the ruined town here, the three of you see the shade of Mazoon the Witch Hunter, who's sort of standing outside the house, kind of frowning at it. Having been soundly defeated and lost his prey. But, Lance, as you're seeing for the first time, Mazoon is sort of like shifting in and out, sort of like a ghost. As if he's there, but he's also not there.
I like walk up to him and like just where like I'm an inch away from his face. It's like, got your number next time.
He does not deal you.
He stares blankly, still
That
sort
is
of
where
frowning.
You will not know you are there unless you are in the house.
So he can't hear me or see.
Oui, that is correct.
So he's trapped in there.
Oui.
Good riddance.
Uh-huh.
Maybe he might die there.
That would be magnifique, but I deem it best not to care. Now that
There's
you are
the man.
free.
Oh, wait, what?
No, she's just gonna say, now that you're free, we can get the fuck out of this town.
I was going to tell her about Elok. There's another man who's looking for him that's trapped in there as well. I had a brief conversation with him.
Perfect. She's like cycling back through the list of names and the pasts and the peoples. What was this man? Was it the big giant with the whatever he's carrying and bucket for a head or something? Yeah.
It's like a knight without a breastplate.
He carries around a hammer.
Zoe, fuck off.
Yeah, Zoe. Okay.
He's like chewing on a goddamn cable.
Yeah, that is Elok. He's been hunting Malzun for quite a while.
He's hunting the witch hunter. Is he a witch?
Is he? I don't remember. I think he's just. Je ne sais pas. But he can cleave a man enough, that is for sure.
Yeah, Mazun is definitely a witch.
No, Elok.
Oh, Elok.
Yeah, that's what Elok was a witch.
I don't think any of you guys have actually witnessed Elok doing anything. Torvald had.
Didn't we? Was it Leonte that watched him murder people? Who was it?
No, we all saw murder people.
Oh, it was Leonte that saw him murder people.
In the alley.
He just
ripped
No,
people. Was it? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Torvald saw murder people too in Yordagar.
Yeah, Torvald saw him kill a
Destroying
goblin.
the fuck out of werewolves.
Yeah, you guys had found him sort of like panting, kind of surrounded by those wolves. Torvald had seen Elok hit a goblin sort of like against a tree, and it had uprooted the tree.
Nice.
Yeah. So he has like brutish strength. But I don't think any of
Maybe he's a
you
dragon.
guys have seen that.
Yeah.
So as far as you guys know, he's just a guy. But Lance, you had sort of hit it off with him. And he is still trapped in the city.
Well,
I'd hate to
that's-
leave him there.
You guys.
I think it seems like irony to me. I like it. Those two stuck in the same world. He keeps looking for him, can't fucking find him, and they're even in the same realm and same town. Like, that seems pretty ironic and fitting.
If I were to leave an object in an area, would it eventually appear in their time?
You were not sure.
So what Lance is gonna do is like, it's worth a try, and I'm gonna like find like a piece of paper or parchment and write
Jake,
and leave
like,
it.
Pulls him out of her coat.
Oh,
Here you are.
thank you. And I'm gonna go to the bar where we had talked, and I'm
Okay.
going to sit exactly where, and I'm gonna write a note that says, Mazun is at the, what's the house called?
The Alum Mansion.
Mazun is at the Alum Mansion, and then I'm also gonna carve that same thing with my I don't know, with a knife if I can find one
Okay.
in the table or in the bar, and just leave it at like that.
Okay.
One
Mazun is
penny.
in the Alum
Okay.
Mansion. Okay. Alright, is there anything else you guys want to do?
No.
Lance, roll me a perception check as you're walking to the swamp bog.
Swamp Bog.
Yes, oh, by the way, you guys, handy information. If you hold shift and double click your own character, it will open up your journal entry for quick reference.
Nice.
Where are
That is
my
a super
dice?
handy tip.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pull
there they
by your
are.
foot.
Then you need to go through all that crap.
Oh,
Then you need to go through all that crap.
Oh,
Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go through all that crap. Then you need to go th
Yeah, it saves you from clicks.
Yup.
What'd you
Yeah,
get on that
nice.
Okay,
perception?
perception. Hold on. Okay. God damn it. There we go. 18.
18?
Yep.
Okay. Lance, you would notice the shade of Eloch down here, and he just seems to be talking to somebody. This is just a thing that you see on the way to the swamp bog. But you do see Eloch, and the way his helmet's sort of moving and his hands are moving, he seems to be engaged in conversation with a person you cannot see.
I'll move closer and look.
Meanwhile, we just watch him walk off, like, should we
Yeah.
follow him?
Yeah.
Olivia just kind of like nods, like, huh?
From what you can see, Lance, he's just interacting with somebody.
Alright. I just leave him be.
Okay, word. Anything else you guys want to do in Colmar?
Negative.
Okay. So you guys are moving on, being led by Olivier Rousseau from this point here. The Covenant. That's sort of sad. You guys aren't the Covenant anymore.
Nope.
Because hunting parties basically have to be registered with the people who are like part of the kill, so they can all join in legally on the rewards. I was having you guys rename it each time, but for the time being I'm going to call this arc the Boletarian Reclamation until you guys pick a new group name. So there you go. So you guys are here in Colmar, and being led by Olivier, you are going to start the trek north through the swamps to a small town which is found right here in the middle. Not a town really, just a pit stop called Repeat.
Is that the area where all them spies had that info about seeing those weird things or whatever?
Spies had info about seeing weird things?
Yeah, the Lady Dan, or wait, what's her name? Fox's Den?
The Fox's Den was saying at Castle Yordagar down here. So,
Shit.
quick, let me pull you guys here. So this is Port Hildian here, right?
Mhm.
Let me change my color so you guys can see a little better. Port Hildian's down here. Scotty, where Torvald is from, is right here. Castle Yordagar is where Torvald and Trollis went. Like, this was the first place they went to in the game before tracking back to Port Hildian, and then eventually to the Abyss. So this place here they had cleared out, and it has recently been renovated by the Fasteners, because you guys had come to the decision that, hey, you guys should take over Yarnborg, Scotty, and Yordagar. So what they were saying was the barbarians that they were seeing were out here in the jungle.
Okay.
But they looked like savages.
Okay. Sorry, I was like, hey, are we going to the place I have info on? Because then we can check out some side shit.
Roll me an insight check, Olivier.
Insight. Oh my god. Hold on. Give me like 2 seconds. I forgot I was charging in my sheet.
Rousseau the Wise One.
Wait, insight. Oh my god, it doesn't matter. I rolled a 2, so I have like 5 or something.
Damn.
Yup.
Okay.
I forget she's not Frankie.
Don't worry about it. Okay, so you guys are being led by Olivier north out of Colmar into the deep swamp territory. And along the way, following the path...
Oh no, it's 2. Not even a 5, a 2.
Yeah, sorry there, Olivier. So along the path, you guys are going to make your way to like this pit stop where everyone who's sort of making the trek across the Dredge Cradle stops for a break, and it is this town known as Repeat. And as you are all arriving here, it is beginning to get dark, and there's a light rain that is starting to pick up. And this is the best place for shelter.
Is it though?
Well, there's nothing but swamplands north and south of here.
I'm gonna
Oh,
roll a
fair enough.
perception check to see if I can, like, spot eyes on us anywhere from anywhere.
Okay. So Lance, as you're sort of moving through this deep swamp territory, you have never really been in the Dredge Cradle that much. You were from the center of the Boletaria region, and typically you guys sail around the edges of the coast, because like no one wants to be in these fucking shitty swamps.
Oh, I didn't see this whole thing up here. My bad. I thought
Where-
it was like camping or something.
What kind of terrain was the orc where I was like held hostage for like, or not held hostage, prisoner with the orcs?
That terrain would have been largely wooded forest areas and near the coastlines, because
Okay.
the orcs would sack human settlements,
Oh,
as well as other orc.
that actually
tribes.
helps support my that helps support Lance's story then, because there's I mean there's a little interesting factoid about him, that's something, but I'll let the party figure it out.
Okay. Okay. So as you guys are approaching this small town here, this spot is known as Repit. It is
Repeat.
Repit, yeah, which is
Repeat?
Boletarian for respite, like a brief
Respite.
pause. Yeah. So as you guys are approaching the town, one of the first things to strike you is that these gates seem to be knocked ajar. And when I say town, Olivier, there's nothing here really except a tavern.
It's like a waypoint.
Yeah, it's like a waypoint. So there's like a tavern, an inn for travelers, a general supply store,
Resta.
and then just like a small grocer.
All right, I'm gonna roll a perception check for just a general awareness. That's going to be a 14.
A 14?
Oh, perception too. It won't matter.
Go ahead, Katarina, you roll me a perception as well, please.
19. I did better on that.
19, okay. Lance, you got what, a 14?
Mm-hmm.
6.
A 6? Okay. Okay, so as the three of you guys are walking into town, Lance, you and Olivier, actually, the two of you are both very familiar with the look of a ransacked town. And the hair, like on the back of your necks, immediately stands up as y'all start walking into what you see is a ransacked area.
I raise my crossbow.
This does not look good.
Looking about this place here, these gates have sort of been knocked aside, as if torn open by a large force. And there's an upturned wagon over here, as well as a lot of like scuffs where it looks as though something heavy has sort of been dragged through the mud.
Is there
Are
like
those crystals from what, like the one I stole?
You take a closer look at it, Lance, and as you get closer, you realize this is the very same thing. And having read the notes, Lance, it occurs to you that this must be the place where the guy had found this crystal.
also are there like like horse footprints, aminals, people, like
So Olivier, as you're sort of looking around, there do seem to be signs. There do seem to be signs that there was some foot traffic here. There are signs of scuffles here in the mud, indicating as such. The corpses or bodies of the would-be horses are nowhere to be found. However, in the center of town here, in this little fire pit, there are these 4 like round chunks of charred flesh, and there is a massive chunk of charred flesh that's been burned on top of this wagon up here as well.
My goodness. Can I pick up those crystals?
Sure. You're just gonna.
I say wait.
You're just gonna
wait.
grab it, Olivier?
Well, it's
Don't grab that.
grab it.
Lance, you watch as Olivier reaches her hand out. Olivier, roll me a d20.
17.
17. Olivier, as you touch this crystal, you take 17 necrotic damage
Damn it.
as your hand sort of like withers. But
Is
as
my
this
metal armor,
happens,
is it okay?
this is your metal arm.
Oh, I don't know. I just forget that it hurts me when I absorb it.
Which hand is it?
I don't know. Dominant one, right one, I guess. Or
So-
I don't know. What side was it on? Or left or the right? Just whatever's closest, honestly.
Okay, the
know that
left
sounds
hand,
stupid,
the left
but-
hand in the picture. So
Okay,
that'll be your
hold on.
fleshy hand. So yes, your hand is going to
Oops.
take on this like withered, like burned look almost. And as this happens, the amulet around your neck grows white hot, sort of singeing your flesh beneath.
Ah.
Do I see the white hot amulet?
Make me a perception check, Lance. Katarina, make me a perception check to notice this as well.
Ooh,
Burn so
21.
21. Lance, you watch as she touches this crystal, and the way the notes definitely said not to do. And her hand gets like burned pretty severely, and you sort of watch as this amulet around her neck strangely glows, sizzling the flesh, and you see like little tendrils of vapor as her flesh sort of sizzles under her collar.
Like, what are you doing?
Oh,
That doesn't hurt you.
it does hurt. It
Hurts
does.
a lot.
Do I
Why
know
would you
it's
do
necrotic
that?
Damage?
Olivier, I'm sorry. What was that question?
Do I know that it's necrotic damage that's affecting me versus like poison or fire or whatever?
I mean,
Or
assumably
is it
so.
just like
You know,
just a
touching this.
familiar pain?
Well, it's a familiar pain because you've experienced the abyss. But having touched this crystal in your hand, sort of burning and withering the way that it is, you know well enough, having burned yourself touching these crystals before, that this is what happens when you touch the crystal.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was gonna have her say that it's necrotic damage, but if I don't know what that is, just that.
Yeah, you don't know
it
per se
burns.
what necrotic damage is, but you would know
Okay.
that this is an object of the abyss.
Oh, yes, it helps. It burns the same as the abyss when we were there. Wow. Ooh.
The
ugh.
abyss.
When we were there.
What's all those?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It is a haunted shithole filled with all these creatures that fall from the ceiling and hoarseness and grab you and little. It was atrocious. It was atrocious.
And those
She like
Well-
she's like spewing off on tangents, recanting the tales of like all the shit they went through. Like
So
rapid
you
fire.
can touch these.
those crystals come from them?
I mean, it helps. It does something for me. Torvald has also touched these. I think this is what is tainting evil.
What was that
Perhaps-
question, Katarina?
Huh?
What was your question?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Muted?
Yeah.
We can hear you, but you can't hear us.
No, I didn't know if you guys could hear me because I was trying to ask some questions. I didn't know if y'all could catch up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we can
was
hear you.
I was just asking you what was your question? Because I heard you ask it.
If the crystals were from the abyss.
Well, to the best of my knowledge.
So then why would you touch them?
Katarina, looking at these crystals, they are just absolutely fuming that black smoke like you've never seen. But these crystals seem to emit the same sort of black smoke that people who have come in contact with the abyss do, including Meryl Suhana.
It is power.
I don't think we should touch those.
D'accord, you should not, but it feels part of my power, so.
You get power from those
She's
crystals?
like weirdly being honest right now. I don't understand.
Kind of like questioning Olivia.
Oh my gosh, should just be like, you know what?
Lance,
It's none of your business.
Lance, this is some very witchy talk that Olivier is talking about.
Yeah.
Her power is getting enhanced by touching these crystals, which Katarina, you know these are abyssal crystals. crystals. So it's pretty odd that Olivier's saying that her power is somehow
I don't think she gives a fuck anymore.
advanced
Yes.
by touching these.
You know what? If you truly want to know, next time we are in a city, I will show you.
I hope I don't regret enabling this, but perhaps you can help me with this one. And I like open the bag, revealing the one that I have, or she already knows.
Right,
It's not really
she's seen it
revealing.
before, but you've never seen her interact with a crystal like that before, Lance.
Olivia
I
is
wanna
gonna.
Oh. Yeah.
Sorry, she's just gonna divulge all the info she knows about the black crystals and how they were being used as like whatever at the orc camp, and like she's just gonna she's just gonna share the knowledge of everything that they've ascertained about those crystals.
Okay, from what Leonte has told you, and this will get everybody up to speed on these crystals.
Yeah.
These
'Cause it's
crystals,
like, ooh.
these crystals were basically being used like batteries that were getting charged just from being near Ebelgug's gate. And essentially what is happening is the Animali are draining Ebelgug, putting his power into these crystals, and these crystals are being shipped north to Boletaria.
Who is the anim? What was that guy's name?
That-
Ebelgug?
Who's that?
So Ebelgug is the god that is found at the bottom of the abyss. He
Olivia
looks
answers. Like a fucking sloth octop monster.
Damn.
Do I know that the abyss is evil?
I mean,
You just know that it's similar to Meryl Suhana. This is Ebelgug. Are you able to see that picture there?
Yeah.
So it's like this massive, multi-armed creature. You have never seen anything like it, but Olivier can describe it to you. And it's basically this god that, from whose body like sort of leaks the abyssal plane.
and so she does.
Okay, so all of you guys are basically caught up on this.
I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask Olivier if she could help me fasten or make this crystal into bolt tips.
Is it something feasible that I can do with my engineer tinkering brain?
You could try. It would be dangerous to handle this crystal.
But we could like
But
break
you
it
could-
and shatter
you
it
could
and like make
attempt
it.
it. You could tinker with it and attempt to do so. You guys have never taken one of these crystals with you before.
Alright, so like Olivier's sitting there staring, thinking about his question, and there's like a small kindling of like challenge accepted in her brain. She goes, I am not certain that. I'm not sure. We would have to, it would be experimental. It might be best, but you would have to be careful. But
These
I
would
will
only be
try.
used on Mazoon, no one else. I think it would be poetic if I killed him with his own experiments.
she nods happily. I cannot promise that I can do it, but I am excited to try. So
Okay.
maybe we can try.
Okay.
Figure it out.
So as y'all continue to look about the town, this was the area here before where I had talked about there being a fire ring in town, where 4 large like chunks of flesh have been charred.
Like all one flesh, or like
From what you can tell, it's hard to make out what these things were, but they are just large, like bowling ball sized chunks of flesh. Larger, I guess.
I'm going to use my lance to like push one off of the fire and dissect it.
Okay. Oh shit. God damn it. That's actually gonna be really hard to do. Okay. So you roll one of these off, and you're sort of cutting it open. Make me an insight check, Lance.
Alright. 12.
12. You notice as you're cutting this corpse open that they are all sort of lined with these open spaces. And it occurs to you that these maybe similar to the corpses that you saw back in Mazun's experimental room.
Oh, the things with the mouths on them.
It's possible.
Things that stare and don't move. Like, I really want to know what the fuck's going on with shit. It, like, creeps me out so bad.
I'm gonna go to this big one and start cutting it.
Roll me an insight check, Lance. Or roll me an investigation check at advantage.
Alright.
And Olivia.
Ooh, 9.
9. Okay, that's fine. You would just see this as you're cutting through it. There seem to be inside this thing broken bits of silver bolts.
Right.
Olivier, as you are sort of walking towards this tavern area, the door is sort of sitting open and mud has been tracked inside. Looking around, this inn has evidently been ruined, and you see here in the corner the corpse of an orc. And you recognize this orc as being an Animali orc. And Lance, over here, you are sort of examining these orcs as well. And as you're doing so, hold up. As you're doing so, Lance, you're going to notice a sort of movement as this corpse in front of you sort of like rustles suddenly, and a large, slippery, black creature sort of like worms its way around in the dirt.
Ooh.
And a mouth suddenly swings towards you.
Oh, see. It's that fucking abysmal creature.
As a giant leech attempts to take a bite out of you and misses. Go ahead and roll initiative. Katarina, you as well. Oh shit. Okay, Lance, you're up first.
Alright. I'm just going to lance it.
Oh! Okay. Alright, Lance. Oof. With 2 vicious strikes, you sort of stab this writhing creature. And the leech sort of shrieks and spins about, but it collapses on the ground and dies.
I'll look at the other corpses to see if they also have them.
Roll me an investigation check.
13.
13. From what you can see, there appear to be 2 leeches up ahead, sort of at the water's edge, that are just sort of like sucking on this thing. But the rest of these bodies seem to be clear. Katarina, what are you up to right now?
I'm just watching, I guess, right now. Not really trying to get too close to the leeches.
Okay. As you sort of survey the area, you guys, you see that the doors to these 2 buildings have been kicked in and ransacked as well. What were you saying, Lance?
I'm looking at these 2. What are like, do I find anything on their bodies? Or actually, fuck it, I'm gonna search. There you go. Let's search their bodies.
Okay. Lance, on their bodies, you find orcish, like, hatchets, and orcish daggers.
I'm actually going to take one of the daggers.
Okay, go ahead and add an orcish dagger to your inventory. You notice, looking at this big orc here, you have never seen an orc like this before. It clearly is an orc, but this thing towers over a typical orc. And this thing just ripples with muscle in a way you've never seen a regular orc.
What's the orcish dagger damage?
It's just a regular dagger damage, but using it gives you advantage. It's a 1d4 plus either strength or dex. For you, it'd be better as dex. Okay. Katarina, as you are looking about, it's very clear to you that some sort of battle has taken place here. And that whatever is responsible for these drag marks sort of leads back towards this water. But at this point, you guys, it's starting to get dark, and there is a storm rapidly approaching.
Can I investigate my orc as well?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
And also probably kick him a few times, stupid Animali.
Go for it.
19.
19?
Yeah.
Same as Lance, there's some orcish daggers. There are orcish hatchets.
I already have daggers. I'll just take an orcish hatchet.
Okay.
No gold though or anything? JK.
No gold on this thing.
Does it look... How did it die?
Looking at it, it appears to have been crushed against this bar. His neck and the back of his head is crushed in, and it appears to have been done so by a very powerful force.
And so it doesn't look like a bar fight. He's the only one dead in here.
He's the only one dead in here.
Okay. Yeah, she'll probably just continue investigating the house, but...
Okay. There's mud all over the place. There is also an upstairs area. Go ahead and...
Creak.
As you go upstairs, actually, Olivier, you are going to find this over here. And looking at it, it appears to be some sort of ritual setup.
Like Leonte's?
Like Mazoon's.
Like Mazoon's? With the Meryl Suhana stuff, or like...
Well, unlike Olivier's overlapping circles, this star here, roll me an insight check to see if you remember where you've seen this before.
Yeah. Also, she's gonna like take out a pen and paper and scribble the design in her notebook.
Okay.
Insight, mirror, 12.
12. You're pretty sure you saw something like this back in the Colmar house, the Alum Mansion.
Okay.
But you have no idea what it does, and you can't think of anywhere else that you might have seen this before. So you're not sure what the function of this is. You just know you've seen it before.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jot that down, that picture. She's gonna draw it.
Okay. Alright. Katarina and Lance, anything else that you guys are doing?
I'm gonna search these two houses.
Okay. Roll me a couple of investigation checks, Lance. Katarina, what are you doing?
I'm probably gonna just, what's it called, keep like a lookout to make sure no one's coming or there's not some weird shit about to happen.
There's like slow feedback happening.
Katarina, roll me an investigation or perception check.
Investigation or perception?
I guess roll me perception check as you're sort of looking around. 21, was that you? No, that's Torvald. Or Lance. God damn it, I did it too.
A 9.
A 9?
9.
Oof, okay. You don't see anything in particular, but you keep an eye out. Lance, you rolled 7 and 21?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks as though this like small house here has been thoroughly ransacked. But as you're looking through this back area here in this other house, so you're kind of back in here, you do manage to find a hidden stash of sugar.
Yeah.
This will be useful.
So
Yeah, I got oysters. We can have sugary oysters.
So Lance,
What else is here?
go ahead and add a sack of brown sugar. And it's fine brown sugar. Looking through the majority of these supplies, it looks like this place has largely been ransacked. There's like some old rotted oats that have sort of been left exposed for too long here. And most of these other boxes have been broken into.
but nothing else.
There's like little scraps of rice. You might be able to scrounge enough raw supplies for like a very sketchy plate of food.
Nah, I'll just keep the sugar.
Okay. So go ahead. That bag, by the way, I would say is about a 3-pound sack of sugar.
Okay.
So it's a fairly sizable sack. Okay. Katarina, as you are on the outskirts, you are starting to notice like a thick fog kind of beginning to creep towards, or creep outwards from the swamp.
Which way is the swamp?
Well, the swamp, I guess from the north, it would be more sort of creeping down this way from the north.
Can I follow it?
You can. I mean, it's coming from outside the city, or outside the waypoint, rather.
Yeah, I'll follow it.
So you're just going to venture ahead on your own?
Well, I just want to like step out a little bit just to see if I notice anything from the smoke.
Okay, well, I mean, from what you can see, it's a fog that's rolling in. So, like, it's coming from pretty far ahead, and it's a pretty wide and thick fog. But it is just sort of, like, generally approaching, like a wall. But it's doing so slowly, but your sharp eyes are able to pick this up as it starts growing darker and darker. Where are you guys going to settle down for the night? Where would you like to do so? This town is clearly
Whatever
the
room
best
does-
shelter.
Smell the worst.
I'm going into this building. Because the smaller the building, the easier I can like cover it.
Okay, so Lance, you're staying in this building. Olivia, you're staying in this one over here somewhere?
I guess, because she didn't pay attention, so apparently it's happening, so she's stuck there.
Oh, what do you mean? You can go anywhere you like. I'm just
Oh,
asking
yeah, I
like
did-
where you guys are settling down for the night.
Well, yeah, are we all together, or are we split up? Because I just
Well-
imagine that she's just like dilly-dally, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh,
Well, this is assuming that you guys have had the evening to sort of like look around. So like you've looked around, and at this point, Olivia, if there's anything else you'd like to do, you can. But assuming you guys all sort of regroup before the end of the night, I'm just asking like where are you guys settling down?
oh, don't care. She's just gonna find Katarina.
All right,
be
Katarina,
like,
where are you
"Let's go."
settling down?
Where's Olivier taking camp at?
Well,
Is she still
Olivier just
alive?
said she was going to find you. So Olivier, I guess you'd be sort of like walking out of this tavern here,
Mm-hmm.
and Katarina.
And I'll be walking back from out here.
Okay. And at this point, Lance, you could maybe like just tell them like, hey, I'm gonna go camp up over here, or you could discuss it.
Yeah. Well, I tell him like, we should hunker down. I'm taking this building.
No, it's Tagely.
As he walks away, I'm gonna look at Olivier and just say, you go ahead and go to sleep. I'm gonna keep watch. Something doesn't seem right here.
She just kind of like, what gives you, is that the idea?
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
She was just asking like why you feel that way, like what gives you that hunch, and also there are no beds in this building, so I probably am gonna go back here.
Have I ever told Olivier that I can see black smoke? Like, do we know that we both can see black smoke?
I can't see it.
I think you have mentioned. No, you've mentioned that you could tell when there was something strange about people, but you didn't say specifically how. If you did, I think you would have told that to Torvald during the guard captain scene, but I don't think you specifically said that to anybody.
Well, then not being too specific, I'll just tell like Olivier, I'm not sure. I just have a feeling that something might happen, and so I'd rather just stay awake and just keep watch while the two of you rest. And then also like they don't know like I don't sleep, so I'll be okay.
Right.
Sure. Oh, I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Olivier, these are mattresses, but they're filthy, and it looks like they have been used by.
What if I flip them
Animali.
over, or find a blanket to throw over it?
Okay, sure. You can like scrounge together a sleeping area if you so choose.
I sleep while hanging from the ceiling, like a bath.
All the blood will rush to your head.
Oh no, you're right. I don't know. Yeah, it's been on prestidigitation, but she's gonna find a way to make a pallet or a bed or something.
Okay, so
But
what?
also mention that second floor you can see more, so maybe you should come up there, cause you can watch from the roof or
That's
something.
true.
I said roof
That does
instead of
give you
roof.
a second story vantage point.
Mhm.
Well, do you tell me, or do you just?
Well,
I don't know.
Lance, I assume like this is a thing you can just talk to them all about before you decide to like go off and do your thing. This is you guys regrouping to decide where to set up camp for the night.
Cause I can just climb on the roof too and just sit there and take first like watch, if you will, or we can do
Alright.
in watches. Should
I
we,
guess we'll take the end.
Well, like
Yeah.
Katarina was offering up the first watch because like y'all don't know, but like she doesn't sleep, so.
We usually switch though, so she's gonna
Well,
have
if
to
she
pretend
doesn't
to sleep.
sleep,
Well, if she just doesn't wake you up for the second watch,
Yeah.
then you guys will just
True.
keep sleeping.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just wasn't gonna wake you guys up.
if she
I'm
doesn't
probably
sleep.
I'm gonna tinker on the helmet though too to get that done. Like just assume also that I'm passively tinkering on that when we have stuff to do.
Okay, yeah,
And
go
I'll make
ahead.
checks whenever you decide ready
And then
for.
I'll just go on the roof of this building where Olivier's at.
Okay,
I'll just be on
so Katarina, you are standing on the roof of the inn,
perched like Batman.
perched like Batman. Katarina, roll me a stealth check to be hidden up there.
And I'm in all black.
All black.
A 26. Hold on, I can't do basic math. 26.
26. Oof, very nice. Okay. Olivier, go ahead and roll me that tinkering check to
21.
start building one of those. Ooh, okay. Go ahead and put down a success for your your Helm of Comprehend Languages, or your circlet rather. And now that you have actually invented that once before, it is more a matter of recreating this and less so experimentation, so it will take you fewer successes to make one of those.
Nice.
As it reasonably would. Lance, are you doing anything for the evening? And where are you guys sleeping? Go ahead and just put yourself in the rooms. I need to know specifically
going
which
to-
rooms you will be in.
Wait,
gonna
is there a
take
window?
this room.
What's the room with the window? I need a room with a window.
This room does not seem to have any windows in it. However,
I'm just gonna punch a hole through it to make a window.
these little things here are windows.
Well, okay. I guess
I'm gonna.
here. And if there are no windows, I'm just gonna punch a hole through the wall.
Okay. Lance, what are you up to?
So, I'm going to. Is there like any hammers and chisels or anything nearby?
Olivier, do you have that in your jacket of useful items?
I'm pretty sure I do. I have to find the pin. I have like a bunch of shit. Or I have to find the.
Let me see.
I think we pinned it.
Jacket of useful items. Yeah, I pinned it. Hammer and pliers are things that Olivier just has on her.
Yep.
That
That's
is
why I'm always
super
handing you
handy.
like paper and like pen and like random shit. I have ball bearings.
You have a lot of you have a lot of
Yeah.
useful items.
I do.
I'll take the hammer and chisel. I said, thank you. I'll give them back to you in the morning.
She just kind of shrugs.
Okay. And Lance, what are you attempting to do down there?
So, I clear off this table, and I place the leather bag with the crystal on the table, and just like carefully unravel it and let it drop around it.
Okay. So Katarina, you're standing on top of the building keeping watch. Olivier, you are tinkering on your circlet. And Lance, you are setting this crystal on the table. And you've got your hammer and chisel here. So what are you doing?
I take out. Okay, so the notes that I have, or do I actually have them?
You can reference them. I don't remember who exactly had them in their possession last.
Are there any books nearby?
You can make an investigation check for one. Are you just looking for paper?
Yeah.
Could always ask Olivier for that.
Okay, I go run into Olivier's room. Hey, you got paper?
Pen and paper. I need to borrow pen and paper too.
She's like tinkering on her thing and doesn't even. She's so in depth. But she does, but just bother her again.
He like walks right up to her ear. Paper?
What? Oh, you scared me. Where did you come from?
Paper, I need paper.
She reaches in her jacket and like pulls out a paper, and then reaches in the other pocket, pulls out like the equivalent, I guess, pen and ink. I don't know, a quill and ink, whatever they write with. Charcoal.
Okay.
Charcoal pencils.
What do we
charcoal
write
pencils.
with?
Charcoal pencils.
Inkwell and pen?
Quill, yeah.
Or quill?
Quill and ink.
Charcoal pencils.
Or assumably like a charcoal pencil. Olivier's an engineer,
Oh.
so she might have some more useful objects.
Right? Can I make an ink pen? Like she designed her own little ink pen.
The world's first ink pen.
Yes. It's like a quill with a built-in little like vial, so it's kind of bulky. It looks like an actual like a tattoo gun or something.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that there are pens at least, because I'm pretty sure that I've commented on like people in Port Hildian using pens and like writing shit.
Okay. Well then she has pens for sure.
It's canon now.
Alright.
She hands them all the things.
Like, do you have any more sheets? Like, maybe 10?
She like rummages for a second and then pulls out 10 more. Or I don't know if I have that, but
We'll say we can give Lance like about 5 sheets of paper, but that's gonna be all that you have on your person at this time.
fuck. This is all I have at the moment, but yeah.
That's fine. Thank you.
Mm.
And so...
What all you do? What? Oh, there he goes.
Wait. What?
She was just gonna ask why you needed it.
Sticks his head back in the door.
Yeah.
I'm doing some experiments on that crystal.
Just be careful. It really helps.
Careful is my middle name.
She nods in approval. Goes back to tinkering.
I go back to the room.
All right. Okay, Lance. You're back.
Alright, first things first. I take like a rock and then I just throw it at the crystal. Not one that's like heavy enough to budge it, but like one that just like hits it. Or, like a little peck.
So you're just like, are you throwing this rock hard, or are you just tossing it over to the crystal?
Throwing it hard.
You're throwing it hard? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go
I'm
ahead.
standing on the other side of the room.
Go ahead and make me a strength check and add your proficiency. Or,
15.
Or I guess this would be a dex check. 15? Okay, that's enough. So Lance, you throw this rock. Roll me a dexterity save. As you throw this rock, this piece sort of like knocks into this crystal, and a small chunk of the crystal where the rock hits just bursts as if it's like suddenly releasing a lot of force. The whole thing doesn't explode, but this chunk does where the rock strikes it.
Alright, 16.
16. Okay. Roll me a d20.
No.
Shards of crystal soar past.
2.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
2. Okay. So you manage to dodge the most of it, but as like a small fragment sort of runs past your cheek, it sort of burns your cheek as it does, and you take 1 necrotic damage.
Ugh.
But Lance, you do observe that this crystal seems to be, I don't know what the word for this would be, volatile?
Volatile.
Striking it releases pressure.
Okay, so I'll like jot that down. These explode when met with force. I look at my hammer and chisel, and I look back at the crystal, like kind of like.
Your hammer and chisel.
Partially.
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry, just kidding.
Oh my god! I look at Olivier's hammer and chisel,
I'm kidding.
and like just feel kind of defeated. Like this is probably, I won't be able to do it this way. But, so I go back to Olivier, and I say, "You got a saw?"
I have my feasts. One moment. Shit. Need to look up what I have in my robes because I doubt I have a saw. But
In your robe. Here, I'll go
where
ahead and just
is
post
it?
it in chat.
Okay, like I have it on my phone, but it's a lot of like wires and like random shit. Does not look like it. Sorry, I do not have a saw. I have a shovel, or I have my feasts if you need something to be broken.
No, that's fine. Here's your hammer and chisel back. I
Okay.
tried to see what would happen if I would hit it, and it turns out these things are more volatile than I thought. I'll have to do more experiments, but looks like I can't use these to cut it down anyways.
Uh, maybe you could try crushing it, but I feel the shards will strike you again. Maybe we can melt it. I do not know.
Well, I guess I can't do it tonight.
Hmm. Well, we shall work on it. I'm curious now. But I'll make a saw in the future.
All right.
Okay.
So I
Anything
go
else?
back and I like bag up the crystal.
Okay, so you bag it up, it's back in storage, and assumably you guys crash at this point. Katarina's taking first watch.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you spend the remainder of your evenings tinkering while Katarina waits above. Lance, what room will you be in?
This one.
Okay. Alright. So, Katarina, at some point around early morning, long after Olivier's light goes out, you notice a sort of like surge in the water as the leeches who you've sort of kind of passively been watching sort of squirming in the water here suddenly vanish and disappear. And at this point, the fog has rolled in and is quite thick around town here. And before too long, Katarina, you go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Big.
A 6. Oof, okay. So in that case, you are not going to see it until it's close up. But Katarina, at some point here, you are going to suddenly hear like a kind of vague whispering sound. And as you hear like multiple quiet voices sort of like whispering out near the front of the inn. But you're sort of you don't see anything like out front, but the voices appear to be coming from just below here. And Katarina, as you sort of peer over the edge here, you're going to see these kind of bizarre creatures with these various mouths that are sort of like split across their little bodies. And you hear a sort of like whispering, murmuring sound. Make me one more perception check, Katarina.
Those things are gross looking.
A 2.
Okay, you're not sure what that sound is that they're making, but Katarina, what are you going to do? They seem to be like sort of slowly making their way towards this door.
Probably like sneak back inside to go wake up the others.
Okay. So I guess you want to try and just like break in through a window over here. Olivier's room is this way, and Lance's room is off the corner of the roof down over here. Where would you like to enter?
From the side of the window right here.
Okay. So, Katarina, roll me an acrobatics check as you sort of flip off the roof and come like kind of crashing in through Olivier's window.
She's like in ready position to like start fucking fighting.
A 15.
A 15? Okay, so Katarina, you sort of gracefully like crash in through the window and you sort of land on this mattress here. And sitting upright, you see a startled Olivier sitting across from you. Lance, roll me a perception check.
Okay. 3.
3. Okay. Lance, you are still sleeping soundly.
He's a heavy sleeper.
Alright, so
Oh,
Katarina and Olivier, Katarina just crashed in through your window and is sort of sitting upright on the mattress beside you.
What are you doing? These are all dolls for a reason.
I think it's time for us to go. We're not the only ones here.
Hastily gets dressed. What do you mean?
I've just noticed and heard some things, and I don't think it's safe anymore to be here.
Maybe we should be sneaky.
We should be sneaky.
We'll go into stealth.
Let's go get Lance first, and then we can make our way out.
But still being on like heightened alert and sneaking.
Alright, Lance, go ahead and roll me another perception check.
Are you fucking kidding me? That one.
Oh no.
Okay.
La-di-da-di-da.
Olivier and Katarina, can the two of you make me perception checks, please?
Okay. 1 second. No, go away thing. Have it. Perception for shame 9. 12.
12. Katarina, what'd you
I rolled 17.
get? A 17?
Yeah.
Okay, so Olivier, you don't quite make it out, but Katarina, there's a noticeable like as the stairs are sort of creaking. And Katarina, you sort of hear like a sort of a vague like
What the fuck?
Male. Right?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. They're like,
There.
they remind me of the things from Ghostbusters mixed with like the Oogie Boogie Man or something.
Are they coming up into the room that we're in, or they're just...
there's
Oh, they're coming into my room.
there's one that is sort of making its way up the stairs here.
Okay, then Katarina just being at Olivier, just being like, I think we should use the window. I don't think we should use the stairs. Can you make it? Kind of like pointing down towards the ground to see if she can like fall that far.
Olivia scoffs and is like, these shoes let me go anywhere. I will be okay. And then she just like walks out the window and walks down the side of the wall.
Yeah, Olivier can like walk on walls.
And ceilings and anything unless it's like slippery.
Okay, so Katarina and Olivier are sort of slipping out the window.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to get Lance though.
Lance, make me another perception check.
We can start walking back inside right here.
18.
18. Okay. So Lance, Katarina and Olivia, you said you guys are slipping off that way?
Well, I was gonna go back for him.
Yeah, I'm gonna start running towards this way to kind of like stealthily make my way inside.
Okay, so you guys are starting to make your way. So I'll say you guys can go out the window and just get to about here, yeah.
Do you have to go around this thing though?
Come again?
I can jump over it. We can jump over it.
No,
This thing right-
you can acrobatics your way over that. Make me an acrobatics check, Katarina. Olivia, you can easily just walk over the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
This would be a relatively easy acrobatics check for
Just like stare at this person walking on walls like, wait, what?
29.
29. Yeah, Katarina, you're a ninja. You just sort of like parkour your way over this wall.
Parkour.
Now, Lance, you are sort of sleeping when you hear this sort of like whispering sound at the edge of your consciousness, and you hear these whisperers say, "They come to steal from you. They intrude."
I wait. I just pretend to be asleep.
Okay. And you sort of hear this voice say like, "Intruders, rotten
Wait.
thieves." This is in Sylvan, however, I guess, so you wouldn't necessarily understand these.
Okay, do I see it like enter the room?
But at this point, Lance, you hear a sort of like guttural sound and like this passive whispering, and your eyes are going to snap open. And yes, you can clearly see this one here in the door. It's about the size of a torso, but it's this squat, ugly little creature with tiny arms and legs and these like kind of nasty looking mouths that are sort of splitting at various points across its body.
Where's my crossbow right now?
Uh,
I assume by my bedside.
Yeah, assumably you keep it by your bed.
And then I have the orcish dagger on me still,
Yeah,
because I mean, imagine I slept with it.
right.
I'm gonna wait till this one gets close to me, and then I'm gonna attack it. So I'm gonna ready an action.
This one is... this one's pretty close to you. He's about,
Yeah, but not dagger range,
not dagger range, but you could reach him with a
Unless
lance
you
or a
throw it.
crossbow.
because I can see the other one too.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let him get close enough to where I can hit him.
Okay. So
Not
we're just
having
gonna
to
sort of
move
let him
towards
wander
it.
forward. All right. So go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll say you have an action ready to make an attack. And Olivier and Katarina, at this point, you guys would be sort of coming around the front here. Can I have everybody roll me initiative?
Yes.
Yeah. If I can find myself. Do the thing.
Now,
Oh,
technically,
20 was the first one.
20.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, technically speaking, only Olivier is able to understand what is being said because of her circlet. The voices that are being spoken are in Sylvan.
So I don't even know it's Sylvan though. Like I just know I can understand.
Yeah, I suppose not. You can just
Would
understand.
I understand any of it since I've been learning Sylvan?
I would say you might recognize bits and pieces. Make me an insight check.
Would I know that sounds familiar to like Leonte?
It sort of has that like accent, yeah.
Okay. I'd be like, huh, Leonte sounds like that. Poor Leonte. I need to kill her. I don't know where she.
A 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay. This is everyone's initiative. Oh, a 10 was your insight check?
Yeah.
Katarina, you feel like you recognize bits and pieces of it. And you might be able to recognize that it's Sylvan, but you have no idea what's being said. But Olivier, for the sake of what's going on here, Olivier and Katarina can both recognize that it's Sylvan.
Yeah, and I rolled a
Lance-
20 the first time. I just spammed initiative.
Lance, roll me an insight check.
All right. 19.
19. This sounds like something you've heard the orcs speak before, but it's not orcish, and you never picked this one up. Alright, so I will go ahead and roll initiative for these little suckers. Alright, so Olivier, you're up first. You're standing in the doorway with Katarina here, and as you're watching, these sort of monstrous little torso-sized cretins are kind of wobbling into Lance's room.
Shout, Lance! Lance!
I don't respond. I'm waiting for the kill.
Okay. What else are you doing, Olivier?
Well, I guess I'm gonna engage, but I'm gonna throw the orcish hatchet that I have at it as like the first hit,
Okay.
and then as I throw it, like essentially like she throws it, runs at it, and by the time close enough to be able to like punch it with her other hand or something.
Okay. So go
That's
ahead and just
okay.
roll me a couple fisticuffs attacks.
I don't hear the sound, that's why I think nothing's happening.
Oh god. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't hear the sound either. But Olivier, as you come forward, you're going to like, or you throw your orcish hatchet and it sort of buries itself in this creature. And as you come forward, you sort of follow it up with an uppercut. And you are going to kill it. And as you strike it, you hear this head say, "Oh, mine. I am limitless." And then it sort of falls over and dies.
I am relentless.
You didn't quite catch it. Not sure what that was, it said.
Motherfucker. Okay.
Alright, any bonus actions?
I guess while we're at it, I'll just use my remaining... I think I moved like 17 feet or something. Just gonna move to that guy and grapple him.
Okay.
27.
27. Alright, let's see here. Okay, yeah, he's grappled. Alright, so you are up close and personal with this thing now. Katarina, you're up next. What are you doing?
I'm gonna just sneak inside and just follow my way behind Olivier. What does she do? She like grabbed him?
So she killed the first one, and then she ran up and she grabbed the second one from behind. And Lance, as you're sort of like preparing yourself for the kill, you hear Olivier sort of shout, and then she sort of like stampedes into the room and like chokeholds this one over here.
Bulldozing.
So Katarina,
Nice.
as you watch sort of Olivier kind of storm through here, what are you doing?
I'm kind of like sneaking and ninjing my way in. Is she just like holding him up in the air with like her hands?
Like
Yeah,
I would imagine. Yeah. Maybe I am just like holding it with the middle arm, just like strangling it, holding it up, like.
She's
And I'll just like ninja my way in and then come from behind him, and then can I like sneak attack him and stab him?
yeah, go ahead and kill it.
What do I click?
For this you would hit short sword
Assassinate?
and
Aw.
sneak attack.
Damn, I was wrong.
But you hit short sword twice at advantage.
Like,
Yikes. Oh my god, so you crit it.
Jeez.
Okay, so Olivier, as you're sort of holding this thing, you hear these mouths say, "They come to hurt you, destroy you." And this head, the main mouth sort of goes like, "Ugh, dare they to tread in my domain?" And at this point, Katarina sort of like flashes into the room and
as she
sinks
gets
her swords
killed-
in.
Right, as Katarina is sinking the swords in, she says, "Draconic, what do you mean?" And then, oh fuck.
Yeah, and Katarina, as you shove your swords into these things, the wounds are gonna sort of like sizzle and pop as the silver like reacts with their flesh and burns them. And at
Did I
this,
ever get that silver in my arm?
you
my
commissioned
hands?
it. You commissioned it, but it
Fuck.
wasn't ready yet.
Damn it. Okay, my bad.
I'm pretty sure that was the case.
Probably.
Lance, at this point, you can hear a creak as the final one sort of turns and begins making its way back down the staircase. What would you like to do?
I wake up and I say, "Thanks for doing it for me, I guess." It's like, it sounds like there's one more upstairs.
for now.
For now, indeed.
And Lance, you can hear the unintelligible whispering and the groaning as this like fat, ugly little creature kind of waddles its way downwards.
I like walk towards the sound and be like, "I've got this one. I want to see how they fight."
Yeah,
And I draw my Orcish dagger and skulk up the stairs.
Okay, well it's gonna meet you basically like right there on the stairs.
And I'm just going to attack it with the dagger, but I don't have a button for that, so hold on.
Okay, it's just a 1d4 plus 5.
14 to hit, and then
Is that what you rolled?
to hit it,
Okay.
and then 9 damage.
9 damage. Okay, so you don't quite kill it, but as you sort of like plant your knife into the side of it, you hear it sort of go like, "Oh!" and it kind of like groans out in pain and says, "Oh, it hurts."
It helps.
All right,
I like grunt. What are you?
all right. You gonna attack it again?
Yeah, sure.
Lance, you watch
8.
as it's 8.
Oh. Yeah, 8 to hit.
8 to hit. Okay, so this time you sort of like swing again, or you like stab down at it again, and your knife sort of like catches and like a little like horn-like growth that's kind of sprouting out of its head, and you just watch as like this fat creature sort of like groans and squirms. These various mouths, the tongue sort of stretched outwards, trying to get at you. And are you doing anything else?
Nope.
Okay, then it is going to attempt to... Actually, what it is going to do is at this point, all of the mouths on this thing sort of cease their whispering and shriek out in unison. Can I get you to roll me a wisdom save?
17.
Let's see. Olivia and Katarina, I need each of you to roll me a wisdom save as well.
How would I find that?
So hold shift and double click your character. Then go to your character sheet. And under your core stats, just roll a wisdom save. Or you can just like roll a d20 and subtract 2 from it. That's probably the easier thing to do.
Oh my.
Ooh, a 0.
Is that bad?
That is.
Okay. Olivia, what'd you get on your save?
Oh, my bad. I did not roll it. Hold on. Wisdom saving throw? What was it? Shift right click? Nope. Shift click?
Shift double click yourself.
Nice. I want to try this out this way.
It's
Nice.
a really handy shortcut.
Wisdom saving throw.
16.
16.
Okay. And Lance, what did you get on your save?
17.
17. Okay, so all of you hear this sort of like incessant whispering that suddenly like bursts into your mind, and your thoughts are just sort of like this. And Olivier and Lance, the two of you feel like this sort of like daze and like this sudden terror like wash over you, but you sort of shake your head and like come back to your senses. Katarina, however, on your next turn, you will attack the nearest creature, convinced that you've suddenly become surrounded by hostile entities.
Okay.
Alright.
I forget what Shake It Off does. It's like for fear or something.
Fear and charm
Bonus
effects. And
Yeah,
you
it's a
have
bonus
advantages to avoid falling asleep.
Nice.
Alright. Everyone reroll initiative if you haven't done so.
Have not. It bothers me that I can't hear the noise.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Also,
going on with
I
that.
missed part of what was happening. I don't know. I don't know how the internet works.
Basically, Lance is attacking this thing. All the mouths sort of shrieked simultaneously, and you guys all kind of began hearing these whispers.
Going with the 9 damage.
Okay, Olivia, you're up first. Lance is attempting to like stab this thing down, and it looks pretty seriously wounded.
I am going to.
Katarina looks quite dazed, or from what you can tell, she's sort of like staring vacantly.
But I don't know that she's like affected yet, do I?
Well, she's wearing a mask. You can roll me an insight check. As
I'll try.
You see she's sort of like staring ahead in place, but you may or may not think anything of it.
19.
19. Ooh, okay. She's suddenly spaced out, and as you turn to face her, she's just sort of like locked in place. And you see her head suddenly like dart from side to side, and she suddenly looks as if she's very startled.
Are you okay? She asks as she flies towards the creature and like face smashes its face or hand smashes, palms it,
Okay.
like essentially like hitting her palm through. Yeah,
Okay. You just like sort of palm thrust the center of it. Go ahead
yeah,
and
like
roll
towards
that.
its like essentially like either in the nose or like up through the jaw type of thing with her middle arm. She's just like crack.
All right. Roll that. Roll that shit. Oh my god. Okay. So Olivia, you like dart forward and like palm thrust it, and it just like explodes out the back of its head. And this thing is going to fly several feet over and sort of shudder and die here on the ground.
I guess turn back and look at Katarina, continuing the conversation like nothing. Like, are you okay? Crunch. Are you okay though? What's going on?
Okay, Katarina, go ahead and roll me an attack.
Just click short sword.
Mm-hmm. So Katarina, as you are hearing like this sort of like flurry of whispers in your mind, you suddenly look about yourself and see yourself surrounded by like these cretins, these heads, and you rush forward to like stab one of them. And Olivier, as Katarina darts forward, she thrusts one of her short swords outward, sort of like ha,
Is that her?
and that's gonna deal 8 damage to you.
So she's dazed. I'm gonna intervene for a second. So my AC is 19,
19.
but I'm gonna use my arm and block that.
Okay.
Add the +2, and I know it'll like damage my arm some, but just like reaction like goes to hit and like either grabs the sword or like I don't know something to like deflect it.
Is your AC 18 or 19?
It's 17 +2 from the Iron Chin, so it's 19.
Okay. Wow. Damn. Very good.
Well, we can recalculate if you like.
No,
I just
no,
feel
that's
like
fine.
That's
That's
what
fine.
I wrote. Yeah.
I forgot about Iron Chin. So 19, and so you're gonna block it with your chitin.
Yes, the plated armor. on my
Okay,
arm.
nice. So as Katarina sort of like darts forward and she slides that short sword forward, you sort of quickly like and you like throw up your arm, and the blade sort of like slides along the edge of your forearm. And Katarina, the whispers sort of like abruptly end as you find yourself like kind of falling forward here, past Olivier. And you come back to your senses.
What's going on?
Are you alright?
No, there was more, weren't there? No, like looking at one here.
We killed it. That's it. I think.
Wow. Well, there are only a few.
I could have sworn there were more.
You did space out earlier, maybe. And she like puts her hand to the mask to like touch her forehead, but obviously there's a mask, being like, do you feel okay?
Would Olivier know like what just happened or no?
Well, Olivier saw that you were feeling or that you were looking about strangely, and that you sort of like you were sort of surprised when you like darted forward and made your attack, and that you had sort of fallen forward and kind of caught yourself here. So Olivier can tell that there's something unusual going on, but she doesn't really know precisely what that might be.
Kind of just like shake my head. I'm just like, no, I think I'm fine.
C'est la vie.
Okay. So the fog is thick outside, and as you guys are sort of looking about you at these 3 strange creatures,
We've never seen them before.
you guys have seen these before. These were the things that were
In the abyss.
in Mazun's experiments. They were sitting on the table.
Oh, all dead and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And in his notes, he had written about bringing a few of these back with him to Colmar to experiment on. Olivier, seeing these, it may have occurred to you that the broken silver bolts that were in the larger charred flesh over here may have been Mazoon's.
This feels like Malzoon's work. I do not know 100%, but it definitely feels like it.
Did he create these creatures?
I don't think he created them.
But
I think he
uses
captured them.
Maybe this is so, but we do not know for certain. Either way, I think he's involved.
Let's say, why would he need to experiment on things that he created himself?
Olivia's thinking about how her brain works when she creates these things, you know, these machines, and like, yeah, trying to describe like the complexity and fulfillment of like, well, that's just how your brain works, you know, like.
Magic is also a very finicky thing. Lots of things that could go wrong. Lots of details to mess around with.
You never know till you try. I do not say I support his decision, but je ne sais pas.
Okay, so are you guys doing anything for the remainder of the evening? From what you can tell, there don't seem to be any more that are approaching you guys.
Can we keep moving, or are we like stuck here?
Well, it's early morning right now. It's storming outside. I actually haven't turned up the storm, but it is.
It's storming.
Yes, here. Let me clarify that for you.
Olivia's like mildly annoyed. This is annoying.
Yeah, so you guys are essentially in a position where you are just kind of taking up refuge.
Olivia's just gonna keep tinkering on the helmet. She's just gonna like put herself in her work until they can leave or like do something or something happens.
Okay.
We're just gonna look at the party and just say like, as soon as the storm's gone, I think we should leave.
Oui, d'accord.
Okay. So you guys hunker down for the remainder of the night. The next morning, you make your way north out of the town towards the remainder of the swamp, following the road. Okay, so as the three of you are making your way north of town, you come to a point where the road seems to be flooded by swamp water, which doesn't seem to make much sense because this road is like deeply covered by water, and this was never the case before. Olivia, you would know this. So you guys come to a point here where it just appears to be overrun by swamp.
This is weird. This was never here before.
Was there a road here before?
She turns to face him and like explains how like there was never a swamp here before. This is blah 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 blah. This just doesn't make sense. What is going on? Turns back to look at the swamp water. Like touches it, pokes it.
You touch it?
Examines. Yeah.
Okay. You touch the water. It's just regular water. Sort of swish your finger around in it.
This will be tricky.
I don't
Can I,
like
like-
this. I can't see what's under the water.
Roll me a perception check.
Boom.
12.
I also have a question.
What's up?
How deep does it get?
How deep?
The water, I'm sorry. Like, is it just like inches? Does it like dip?
Well, I mean, initially it's pretty shallow because it's just submerged road here, but then it gets up to about waist height.
What's the small boat function? What's the first dimension to that first ship from that Foldy ship?
It's big enough for the three of you.
But like a canoe, you know, where they could just skim across the top, you think?
Yeah, you can make like a little skimmer out of it.
Okay. I do not know what is going on here, but I feel like walking through this is treacherous. And here, watch this.
Roll me a perception check as you're sort of talking here. All three of you.
Perception. Ha! 13. That's like math. Hold on.
Then
Come
You
again?
second that?
What'd you get, Amanda?
a 7.
A 7? Okay, the rest of you?
13.
What did you want me to roll?
Perception check.
Oh, I got a 12.
Okay.
Yes.
As Olivier, you're sort of saying like check this out. I want to try something. You guys hear like a sort of like a sort of surge of water
Sacré bleu.
coming from this direction over here.
Where?
Turns to look, right?
And you guys sort of look out into the water as you hear like this sort of surge. And as you guys are watching, the surge sort of like pauses. And after a moment, this sort of large creature kind of rises up out of the water. The water kind of like dripping off. And as you're looking at this thing, whoops, hang on one sec. GM layer. There we go. This large creature. And as you're looking at this thing,
Wait, where is it? Oh, I see it.
the creature's body itself, this thing is
Oh, shit.
massive, right? Towers over any of you guys. The creature's body itself looks fairly rotted and decomposed, and it looks roughly humanoid in shape. But the mouth has sort of grown to be like this, it's sort of grown into this different, like, hungry kind of shape. And there's like a kind of dripping of water as you all kind of look over at this like hulking, dripping figure who addresses you. And Olivia, you hear, salt and copper. I taste your blood in the air, children of man. You forfeit your lives to wade through my opulent waters.
To wade? Or, whoa, hold on, not Frankie. Shit, okay. To wade, you say? Those are the terms? She's kind of being a smart ass, like you're saying, so I have to wade through the waters for me to forfeit my blood to you?
So you don't speak Sylvan, right?
Yeah, I know.
So you're just sort of
I
speaking
speak
outwardly?
Draconic. I'll say Draconic, or Common, or both.
Okay. As you speak up, kind of in the middle of your voice, or in the middle of your speaking, you hear this voice sort of interrupt you and say, "Ah, there you are. Come, I will feast on your red wet flesh." And he sort of like moves, like sort of surging through the water towards you guys. I need everyone to roll me initiative.
My goodness. 13.
13, okay. Alright, so Lance, this sort of large, bloated creature, which has sort of risen out of the water and it kind of barked something at you guys, to which Olivier responded in a sort of guttural language, begins charging at you, at the group here. You're up first. What are you going to do?
So this big fucker's charging at me. I'm going to use my crossbow. And I'm also going to action surge right off the bat.
Okay, go ahead. Lay it down.
So 2 big attacks.
God, that's so much damage.
Oh, actually, no. Wait, can I action surge a crossbow?
Ooh, actually no, you cannot action surge a crossbow.
Alright, so just,
So,
I guess the first one if it hits.
okay. But I'll let you use your environmental to switch to the lance if you want to use the lance.
Okay.
Because let me see, at this point, if you move to the water's edge, you would be able to strike him. Or actually, here, that should be fine. And then you'll make one attack. So we'll say the first attack was the nat 1. So you are going to drop your lance on the ground right beside you here. And that's gonna
Damn.
be right there. So your lance is on the ground right there. Okay. But you do manage to sink that bolt. Anything else you're doing this turn?
Oh, that's it.
Okay. Then Katarina, you are up next. Same situation, this large creature. Now Katarina, you can see that there is black smoke wafting off of this creature as well. And the heads were also emitting this smoke.
And Lance just threw the thing at him.
Yes.
Then I'll probably. Well, I don't want to do that.
Lance just fired his crossbow, and then he attempted to attack him, but he dropped his lance.
I don't want to throw my short swords, because if I throw them, then how am I going to get them back?
That's true. You do have knives for throwing.
Okay, so then I'll just start throwing my knives at him. Like 2 knives.
Okay. It has not yet acted in combat, so go ahead and roll those at advantage. Just go ahead and roll your short sword, and anything over a... So a 6, we'll say you got a 4 on that one, and a 4 on that one. Okay, so you managed to deal 9 damage with your first attack. Correction, 12 damage with your first attack. Okay, so what are you doing after that, Katarina?
Well, didn't I throw 2 of them?
Yeah, so you need to roll again.
Okay.
Okay, wow, very nice. And that will just be another 4. Plus a d8. Alright, and are you moving, or are you going anywhere this turn?
I'm probably gonna like step back a little bit just to kind of like put some space in between us since he's charging at us.
Okay. Alright, he is still kind of out here. And Olivier, you are up last. This thing is approaching, but he is not quite to you yet. What are you doing?
Well, here's the thing. Does it look super tough? It could destroy us?
Well, it looks like its body is falling apart, but it is quite large.
Can I command it to, like, just freeze, stop? Like,
Its wounds look pretty serious. You want to try?
Yeah, I'm gonna... Okay, so I'm just gonna use the thing if I have to, but this is one of the pact magics.
Okay, so you're going to use your 1 pact magic.
Yeah, and remind me again of what you were saying about how that other thing, immutable darkness, helps
You can just convert a psionic point into a pact magic. So essentially you have 3 uses of pact magic and 2 uses of your psionic stuff. It just depends on how you use your points.
I see. Well, I'm gonna use my pact magic and command it to, like, stop.
Okay. Let's see, it's going to roll a wisdom save. Oof. And freeze in place. As this charging mass just sort of stops and stands upright.
Does that count as an action?
Yes, that's an action. And Lance, you and Katarina are both going to sort of watch as Olivier sort of holds up a hand, pointing towards this creature, and says, like, stop. and this creature just like halts in place. Lance, this is some of the witchiest shit you've ever seen, because this is the person who came rising up out of that circle.
Yo.
Holy shit.
But after I command it to stop, I'll use a bonus action and Bird of Moxie to do 2 additional attacks to it.
Okay, go ahead and plant them.
Like run up and be like, "Buh-buh."
Okay. Wow.
And I guess just stand on it or like jump backwards and get back on the land.
Okay, so you're trying to like attack it and then leap back off of it?
Like I run at it, climb up and go like bop bop and like hit or kick whatever, and then like jump back, flip back, get off of it.
Okay, roll me an acrobatics check, and I'll say like moving forward and moving back can be included in your movement if you can pull this off.
Okay. Well, 14 plus 2, 16.
Plus 2? Aren't you proficient in acrobatics now? I thought that was your new one, perception and acrobatics. Pretty sure
you're
those were
totally
your
right.
2 new skills.
You're totally right.
So it's 2 plus your proficiency. So what does that come out to?
I forgot.
Proficiency is 3. So whatever your roll was plus 5. 19?
No, hold on. I thought it was plus 2. I rolled 12, so I thought it was. No, wait. I rolled 14, thought it was 2. No.
So if
sorry.
you rolled
12.
If
Was
you
it
rolled
12?
a 12, you add plus 2 dex,
Yes.
plus 3 proficiency. So you rolled a 17. I'll allow
Okay.
that. So Olivier, you get your hits in, and then you leap back off.
Nice. For some reason, I put my proficiency Arcana and not the acrobatics. That fucked me up. And I'm like, no. When do I ever use Arcana? That's bullshit.
You're good, you're good. So this thing's going to charge forward in an attempt to grapple both Katarina and Lance. I need both of you guys to make me athletics checks.
How do I do that?
Well, you have your modifiers button. There you go. So athletics is one of your skills, so it's a plus 2 in your case. So roll a d20 plus 2.
I rolled a natural 20.
A natural
Nice.
20. Wow. Okay, Lance, what'd you get?
Can I use my remarkable athlete for this? Just says add half of your proficiency bonus to
Well, this
any
isn't
check that doesn't already use it.
But you're already proficient in your athletics, aren't you?
Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind then. Forget it. That was dumb. 17.
17. Wow, that's pretty good. Okay, so as this thing sort of like swipes at you both, it sort of snarls like, and it sort of reaches at both of you. Katarina, you sort of expertly like kind of step to the side, and taking your short sword, you clip off a couple of its fingers. And Lance, you sort of like manage to like grab a hold of its hand and sort of like force it away from you long enough for you to duck to the side. And roll initiative if you guys haven't already done so.
Nope. Shite. Better.
Lance.
I already did.
Okay, cool. So from the top, Lance, you're up first.
Alright. I'm gonna move back, provoking an attack of opportunity to about right here.
Okay, he is going to take it and miss.
The Sentinel help? No,
As
it
it
doesn't.
sort of like
Not yet.
swipes out at you.
Yeah.
Actually, it does. Sentinel does help in this case because an attack of
That's-
opportunity is an attack, and he is technically within 5 feet of you. So as a reaction, Olivia, you can attack him.
I will, because I have Sentinel, so I might as well use it.
So go ahead and tag him.
Just once? Oh, shit. 13 to hit.
13. Okay, so Lance, this thing sort of swipes at you, and as it does so, Olivia, you sort of step forward and just like crack a jab into its lower back. And it's sort of gonna like groan and like kind of drop to one knee, and its guts sort of like spill a little bit onto the
It has
road.
knees.
Yes, this thing has knees, and this is just like its torso that's pictured here. But it is like
Okay.
a large humanoid figure.
Gross.
but it is sort of looking like it's on its last legs now. Lance, what are you doing now that you've moved away?
Shot at it.
Alright, go ahead and roll it.
I already did. Like,
Oh, that
Lance
21 up there?
fires a bolt.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And with that 6 damage, so how do you do this, Lance?
Fucking shoot it.
Okay.
Through its whatever hole that's this thing.
Alright, so Lance...
Yeah, just shoot it in its mouth hole.
Shoot it through this.
Alright, so it just kind of goes right up through the top of its head here. And you guys see it sort of like lock up in place. And this large bloated mass will sort of like fall over dead.
Gross. We did it.
Okay.
Alright, I'll pick up my lance.
Loot it. Loot. Kidding.
And I search it.
Yeah, does it have any bones, or is it all just fleshy, wiggly water mass?
It's got bones. Lance, as far as like possessions on this thing, it appears to be a large, what you would almost expect from like a humanoid figure.
Someone
but it
outside?
is bloated and rotten and is not wearing any clothes. So it does not have any possessions necessarily on it. Now Olivier, in your case, it does have bones, it does have teeth, it has plenty of flesh. The body is notably deteriorated.
I'm interested in the bones, because I want to collect those so I can use them to throw them.
Okay, so you want to extract some of these bones?
I still have teeth and eyeballs and claws and nails and shit from all sorts of other creatures. Yes, I have an endless supply of ammo.
Is that stuff getting old at this point? Note that
Probably.
it will rot over time.
Well, whatever will rot is probably rotten by now, so what do you think?
Okay, just keep in mind, whatever you have in there in your inventory, just note it as rotten eventually.
Well, teeth don't rot, but the
teeth don't
eyeballs
rot,
are probably
yeah.
gone.
Just like a
Claws?
gray-brown goop.
What do you think about claws?
No, claws don't rot. They'll
What
smell
about nails?
bad. Nails?
Fingernail? I
Fingernails?
guess, yeah.
Fingernails technically would rot, but would still be okay, I guess. Unless you've
No,
had them a
we'll get rid of
very
them.
long time.
So,
But
even
looking at this
claw.
thing, yes, there are plenty of teeth, there are bones. What do you want to extract from this?
Because I have some other bones, but they're not, like, fleshy like that. I'll just take, like, 5 teeth or something.
5 teeth? Okay, go ahead and, go ahead and roll investigation to, like, I guess properly extract these teeth.
I rolled a nat 20.
Or survival,
Plus...
okay.
So what was you asked me to roll? Investigation? Plus 3.
Plus
Three.
3? Okay. With a natural 20, you find all of those, but you also note that there are particularly large teeth on either side. So you have what look like long canines in addition to the regular teeth. So just put like
Nice.
behemoth teeth and behemoth canines. But as you guys are sort of gathered around here, the fog still seems to be pretty thick. But it has gone quiet again, and the insects have kind of picked back up.
Does anyone want to stay here? Oh, I think this is a sign to skedaddle.
There's probably more of these in the swamp. Are you sure we want to go any further?
This is the only way, right? Yeah? Or no?
Well, the way north is ahead, but the road isn't supposed to be flooded like this.
This is the only way I know. It's not supposed to be floated, but here, watch this. She takes out the folding boat and issues the command. Let me find the commands. It's like small. Small.
We'd actually have that written down somewhere.
I have it written down. It's small, medium, large. Those are the
Yeah,
commands.
and the thing about the large command was that the large command actually made it shrink back down again, but Torvald didn't read the instructions.
Yep. So she says small to like open it up to its medium or whatever small, whatever form.
Okay, sorry, let me grab you that boat. That's weird. Oh, here we go.
Like, you know those boats that have like the flat bottom and they're just kind of like almost like pontoons or what are them called? I don't know, but they usually
John
have,
boats.
like flat bottoms. They just kind of skim the surface. Some of them are like banana-ies, and you just have 2 floaties and like that net on top and shit. But bunch of boats.
Sounds
What I'm
good.
saying, we don't have a hover glider. 'Cause that's
Okay.
what I would use. But
A hover glider. Lance, I assume you pick your lance back up.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
it's like
So
I'm thinking there's gonna be like gators and shit in here, and like Everglades.
So you guys all pile on the boat. Very interesting. And you maneuver through the swamp. So which way are you guys gonna go?
Whatever way Olivier thinks is the correct direction. So
Just
like
due north that way.
or
Like the
get here and figure it out and like maneuver either way or like whichever
Okay.
way seems the most naturally flowy.
Okay. So you are just gonna work your way down this way. Just sort of
Yeah, just follow the
direct
water.
me if you want to go any particular way.
Okay.
Are you just gonna continue north as our or
Y'all, any
you want to just
any
guide me
thoughts,
with
group?
arrows?
Is it? Do we have enough space to go that way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you like. Oh shit. Fucking turned all you guys sideways. Oh well. Okay. Interesting. So you guys took the boat this way.
Oh no, man overboard! Dives in, grabs
Let's-
it, and then make maybe that direction. Because that's what I remember from the map is that direction. Ah, I'm stuck.
There we go. Okay. Wow, so you guys just continue north.
Are we not supposed-
All right. So as you're
If
getting up
anybody
here,
wants a different path, just say so and we'll go that way. But as we're getting up here,
okay, so as you guys are coming up here, you note that there seems to be high ground up over here in this direction.
how long have we been boating for? Sailing for? Rowing for?
Hang tight, actually. One sec. You have been boating. It wouldn't take you long to get over here. So I would say maybe for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Oh shit. Okay, that's not long at all.
Yeah, it's not long at all. You guys are zooming through here.
Olivier's gonna like put up the oars for a second and just kind of coast and be like, should we try to get down bearings or just keep going?
Okay, so as you guys are sort of making your way this way, roll me a perception check.
13.
Hold Perception. 8.
17.
So Lance and Olivier, you two see a couple of things here. It doesn't seem to have noticed you yet, but Lance, on this side you spot some sort of large, hunched creature, and it seems to be engaged with something that you can't quite make out. And Katerina, on this side off in the distance, you see what appears to be a large, hovering mass. That's just on the edge of your vision that you can't quite make out either. But each of you notes that there seems to be something sort of alive and on either side of you. How would y'all like to?
Elevation's
How would you like to
la-di-da-di-da.
proceed from here? Note that these islands here are high ground. And Lance, this creature on this side has not noticed you yet. And Katerina, this mass appears on the opposite side of the tree and cannot see you guys from where you are. Olivia, that's where
What's
you're wanting to
this?
go?
That's what I'm thinking. Just like directly in between. If we stay out of their range, then maybe we can just slip through.
Oh shit. Okay, so you are going to continue on this way?
It's a democracy. We can vote. We can like huddle and like discuss it in hushed voices.
Is that what
like,
y'all wanna
what we
do?
think is best.
You guys are currently sort of like behind this high ground and a sort of submerged rock here. But you can see that there are threats on either side of you.
Olivia
It's like
voices her opinions and looks at the other two.
I say we dispose of the boat for now, and we go into the water. I don't really want to fight whatever those are.
Olivier like kind of hums but says, but if we are in the water, it is harder to move and we might make more noise. Maybe at least to cross the to the other island.
Can I have one of you guys make a stealth check for me?
Who has the highest stealth? I +2.
Katarina, are
Probably
you there?
Katarina.
19.
Katarina, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I would roll an 18, but
19.
19.
they both got 19. Yeah.
Let's see here.
18.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Neither of these creatures seem to have noticed you guys. Now, what are you all planning on doing?
Olivier quickly tells her plan and says, huh? What do you think? What are your plans? Let's go. We need to decide.
Just to keep moving forward to get out of
Time is
here.
of the essence.
Okay, Katarina, just to get you up to speed, there's a creature this way, a
Yeah, I'm
creature
on the
this
side.
way. Neither of them seem to know where you are, and Olivia is
Yeah.
proposing you guys move north this way.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Lance?
Like just sliding by.
Yeah, slide by.
Okay, you guys are going to attempt to sneak past.
But slow and careful with this minimal noise. That my only problem is if we walk, we're gonna cause more waves and more movement and sound, I think, versus just like an occasional push here and there with the oars. We can just like kind of skim through, you know, and just like.
You guys have done a pretty
Be
good
silent.
job being quiet so far. So as you move up here, go ahead and roll me one more stealth check.
Okie day.
All of us.
19.
Oh shit. Okay.
17.
Dumble. Oh my god.
Katarina,
look at that thing.
stealth check.
I'm doing it right now. Hold on, I can't do fucking math.
This
I
guy.
think 26.
Damn girl, lady.
Yeah, 26.
26. Okay. Alright, so here's what happens. As you guys move up here, and you're sort of like kind of trying to sneak past this thing, this mass up here, which you guys now see to be like this sort of swollen humanoid figure whose form has sort of like sprouted various eyeballs. This thing is going to sort of turn on you guys angrily, and as this eye glares at you, the eye itself is going to begin sort of like quivering and glowing into like a brilliant light here. Alright, I need you guys to roll me initiative.
That is scary. Not bad.
This is a predicament that I did not expect you guys to be in.
Well, you know, we rolled really high in stealth.
You guys have done pretty well so far. Okay. Alright. So, you guys have one round. What are you doing?
I am shooting it. I'm gonna aim for the eye. The
Is this the
crossbow.
preemptive round before the battle?
This
Like
thing
surprise round?
has already seen you, and it has begun to sort of like emanate this brilliant light as this
Okay.
like massive eyes kind of glares at you. Lance is gonna fire at it, dealing 11 damage. This thing sort of like twitches, and you guys know.
I'm aiming specifically for the eye, though.
Okay.
Okay,
That's-
so I hit it in the eye, right?
Right. So you hit it in the eye, And you notice that these eyes are each sort of like twitching and like jarring erratically. As the bolt sort of sinks into this eyeball, Lance, you see that the flesh is torn, but this eye sort of like twitches around in the socket, the bolt doing lots of damage to the flesh around it. But these eyes are still sort of glowing brilliantly here. Olivier and Katarina, what are you guys doing?
I'm gonna keep paddling forward to get us out of here.
Alright, well you guys are essentially pulled up on land here.
Oh, we're on land.
There are a couple trees, there's a small like boulder here that's kind of covered in grass and moss. Roll me a perception check, all of you.
2.
All of that?
Hold on. 13.
13.
11.
Okay, Olivier is the only one that notices that the trees and the logs and like the landscape around all seems to be scorched on one side. And there's scorch marks along the ground and the grass. But
Well, good thing that
not behind the
Lance-
trees or the boulders.
Under her breath, she mutters like, "I wonder if this will explode." Like the creature, referencing the creature. But I'm gonna throw those teeth I gathered. I'm gonna throw 2 at it around wherever Lance did to help build on that damage and pressure as my action.
Okay, so you're throwing teeth
Wait.
at.
Hold on, yes. Let me see how far I am first. Yes, I am throwing teeth.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
Right, 1 and 2. Ooh, gross.
That is pretty gross. So 1. Alright, are you doing anything else? You still have your bonus action.
Was thinking about that. 2 seconds to try to find something. I don't know if I could burn a moxie for it or not. No, okay, so for just prepare, because I can use it as a bonus. You can use it as a bonus action. Dig deep to gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage. And I get 2 of those.
Okay, so you're like tanking for a round.
Yeah, like just like settling in and like pulling your arms up and tucking the chin, like just getting ready for like impact, you know.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. And Katarina, I believe you were up last. Oh shit, actually, technically Katarina would have been up first. But whatever. Katarina, what are you doing?
I guess just throwing short swords at it.
Or throwing your knives? Probably don't want to throw your
Yeah.
short swords. Okay.
Exactly.
Go ahead and
Well,
roll
with the
those.
knives. But I have to roll short swords to do that, right?
Yeah, we should make you a button, but yes. We'll go ahead and count that as 4. So you deal 9 plus 5. Katarina, go ahead and roll your sneak attack as well.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Katarina, make one more, or just, you still have your bonus action. What do you want to do with your bonus action?
I don't know. What could I do?
Well, you have a button to tell you. Let's look at it. So your bonus actions button, you can dash, disengage, hide. You can throw another knife, because your first one was technically at advantage, because you're an assassin. Or you could do these other things. Do you want to try hiding, or do you want to throw another knife?
I'll throw another knife at it.
Okay, go ahead and roll your offhand sword attack.
Oh,
Advantage.
shit.
That's fine, you can use that. So technically that would just be 3 damage. Oof, not quite enough. Okay. Alright, you guys. So all 3 of you are all just sort of sitting there. And this thing is sort of glowing this sort of like angry, brilliant light. And with a burst, it is going to sort of brilliantly blast with light. And Olivier, Katarina, and Lance, this is going to scorch all of you guys for...
Motherfucker, didn't even matter.
for 15 damage.
Of radiance or something?
This is 15 radiant damage.
Motherfucker.
And Katarina, this is going to deal double damage to you.
How much damage did I get?
So, Katarina, you are going to take 30 damage from this.
Holy shit.
Okay.
As
You
this sort of
okay?
like burst of angry, like purple light kind of washes over all of you guys and sort of has that necrotic erosion to it. And it just like burns as this light touches you. Olivier, it occurs to you that none of the areas behind, or like where line of sight is not obtained, are scorched, and that this must be what the scorches are.
Okay, so it doesn't affect cover.
Right.
She's gonna shout that wildly into the other two. Now, find cover! It doesn't affect cover!
So run and find cover behind like a bush or something.
Okay. So hang tight, you're still kind of back here. Everyone re-roll their initiative.
I did, I got an 11 or something.
Okay.
Whatever that last one was. Amanda Ray,
Huh.
are you sick?
No, I lost my voice yesterday.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and it's like completely gone. It's not
I
funny.
keep trying to like figure this out.
Screaming
You
at
don't
me to be
sound the same.
obnoxious.
No, I was screaming at Hunter yesterday because I was super drunk and I was just screaming at him.
Bad foods, I know. Have you been drinking like tea with honey and stuff?
Well, no, like it's my own fault. Like I was literally
No, no,
screaming at
no.
me.
Yeah, she's
I
screaming at the
understand,
top
but,
of her
like,
lungs.
I understand. I'm just saying, if you drink like
Do you guys
tea,
have
hot
neighbors?
tea with honey, that'll like help ease your, your throat.
Yeah.
It was in
yeah,
the car,
yeah.
she was just trying
It
to
was-
annoy me.
Oh, so she was
Yeah.
Something
screaming.
about
Like,
food.
She blew her
and
voice
What?
out, being a pain in the butt.
I was drunk and we were in the car and I kept screaming and like he would put his hands over his ears and I would just keep screaming. We're
My
we're
God.
Christ.
I feel like I'm never that loud.
I am. I'm obnoxious and I'm drunk.
Moving
Alright,
forward.
so this thing, since it seems to go first, is going to move a little bit closer to you guys. Okay. And it is going to turn a brilliant yellow again.
Oh my God, it's happening again.
Okay. I'm gonna. Can we go hide now?
This thing?
Alright,
What
yeah,
is this
Katarina,
thing?
you're up first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and hide behind these bushes or like in the bushes.
Alright, so go ahead. Actually, you don't need to roll me
Should she
stealth.
ready an action or something?
So she can hide as a bonus action. Katarina, do you want to do anything with your action?
Would that be my action to hide or no?
Well, since you're a rogue, you can hide as a bonus action.
Okay, so then I can still do another action.
Mm-hmm.
I guess throw more swords at it just to try to kill it.
Okay, so you can throw another dagger. How many have you thrown so far? 4? I believe you have 6 on your person.
Yeah, 4.
Okay, so go ahead and hit your button. This will be your short sword. And just treat your d6 like it's a d4. Ooh, was that first one a natural 1?
I don't know. How would I know that?
I
Yeah.
think it was. So Katarina,
Yeah. When you hover over the number, it'll show you the
Oh
roll.
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
are you,
Yeah.
Katarina? Okay, so Katarina, as you throw your knife forward, right? You sort of lose your footing as the mud sort of gives way behind your back foot, and you are going to slip prone. But as you do so, your toes and like about half your foot become submerged in the water.
Right.
Okay, and what happens?
That's all that happens for now.
Can I pull my foot out?
Hmm?
Can I pull my foot out?
Yeah, you can pull your, you can like immediately like jerk your foot back up out of the water. Real quick.
Yeah.
Let me see how far you've gone. Yeah, okay. So you don't have enough movement left to stand up, but you can like sort of catch yourself and be like, "Ugh," and like lift your foot out of the water if you like.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Okay, so, ooh, actually, did I put this in order? Here we go. So Lance, you're up next. What do you want to do? Katarina, damn, I guess technically you would have gone third, whatever.
But she was supposed to go first the first time, so balances
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I crouch behind this log and fire another shot at him.
Alright, there's not a lot of cover here behind
Alright.
just this log, but there's a
This
boulder
rock.
and there's a tree.
This rock.
Okay, so you crouch behind this rock with Olivier here, and you're firing over.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
I already did.
Hell yeah, alright. Okay, so with this, Lance, your bolt is gonna sink in and catch it in the eye again, and this creature's gonna sort of shudder and you watch the eyes all sort of twitch around rapidly in various directions. And it is going to sort of drop from its hover, like... Can y'all hear me okay?
Hello? Yeah, you were
Yeah.
cutting out.
Yeah.
Do y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you
Yes.
Oh, shit, okay. Okay, so, Lance, as you fire your crossbow, your bolt is going to sort of sink into its eye. And as it does so, the eyes are all sort of jerking and twitching frantically in various directions. And the eyes sort of like twitches upwards as it kind of shudders, and this hovering mass sort of like twitches a little bit and then falls into the water.
Robot.